So we always wanted to, do something in terms of, in the form of film. And that's when, we were, having conversations with Sony Pictures because, we had the live action film. So, we were talking with them and then they said, like, why don't we do a CGI, film? And why CGI? Because we already have the live action film, and then we do video games, so that's something new, or like a blend in a way that we want to do a CGI film. As you know, in Resident Evil 4 and 5, you do not see the T-virus or the zombies. But the thing is, we have Leon and Claire, who are characters from Resident Evil 2, and in Resident Evil 2, you have that whole Raccoon City incident with the T-virus, with the zombies, and so it's this story takes place 7 years after the Raccoon City incident from Resident Evil 2. So with those characters, we wanted to bring back the T-virus and the zombies. I myself am not a professional in the video game world, so when putting this film together, I basically, worked on it as a horror action flick. So I, obviously do not really know the differences between, how to create a video game and how to, create a film. So that's something I didn't think about. I just basically kept in mind, how to put together a horror action flick. So I, did the pacing according to that. Since I was working with a film director, I wanted to do his thing as a film director because this is a film. But the discussions I had with the Resident Evil team, currently the Resident Evil 5 team, is that not necessarily to do any kind of collaboration between this film and Resident Evil 5, but we wanted to make sure that the storyline or the things that happen in this film do not affect the story of Resident Evil 5. But the thing is, unlike live action film, which has a totally different look and feel from the original video game, this one, since it's in CGI, it's definitely closer in terms of, the look and feel and atmosphere to the video game. That's why, we wanted to make sure that it looked, it had that same feel and look as a video game. We didn't want any discrepancies, happening. So that was very, challenging in the sense that we had to have the Capcom video game team, check what we were putting together so that it didn't go astray from, the video game look. While this will obviously appeal to the video game fans, this is a film, and we think that this will appeal to a totally different audience who have actually not played the video game. So we didn't really keep that in mind too much. Obviously, he's still that secret agent who works directly for the U.S. president. That we haven't changed, but other than that, we haven't really depicted what happened, during that 1 year, so that to cater this towards the video game players who've played Resident Evil 4. We haven't done that. The thing is, obviously, I'm bound to, the background of the video game. Obviously, there are things, like Leon's got to look like this. Claire would never, say something like this. And, obviously, there are these, restrictions at the very, the root of this project. But at the same time, it was Kobayashi-san who personally offered this project to me because he knew that I am, a fan of the Resident Evil video game series. So knowing that, he knew that I know, Resident Evil. So in that sense, within that, basic restrictions down the roots, he allowed me to do whatever I could do. Obviously, it's really hard to, sort of explore untouched grounds because, as you said, we've done so many games and stuff. But at the same time, having familiar characters, take part and, do their thing in new stories is what fans like to see. So it's really fun putting together such films, too. Actually, what I kept in mind was that, since I do have the freedom, I could do whatever I wanted to do in terms of camera angles and emotion and stuff like that. But I sort of said to myself, I shouldn't be doing that too much. All the acting was done with, motion capturing, and the thing is, they do their realistic motions. So I could have, really, done anything with that, taken it later on. But I said, then, it'll look. The thing is, I didn't want people to see this film and say, oh, it's a CGI film, so the director can do whatever he wants to do. I did not want to go crazy in that sense in terms of directing it. So I sort of restricted myself. What I was able to do was after I had all the scenes completed in terms of action, I can do a particular scene in slow motion or speed it up, things like that. But again, it's a film, and I wanted to focus on the acting, so I just not want to ignore the acting and go crazy with the camera or anything.